Thank you. Just a few more minutes. Please, if you have any queries or questions, put them in the chat. Thank you. Oh, okay. So we'd like to welcome everyone to the informational webinar today. It's a webinar about the CTAIR Scholar Program brought to you by the Ivan Research Institute in collaboration with CTAIR, the Center for Translation and Implementation Research, and the University of Nigeria. And today we have Professor Echezona Ezeanolue, who is the director of the Ivan Institute, is going to give us information, and we're going to have the opportunity to ask a lot of questions that we want to ask about this program. So we're taking off from here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Onyeka. And I'm just going to go a little bit about, I'm going to try to make this a lot more interactional. So if there are questions, please, if you put it in Q&A, that will be my focus, because the whole idea is to provide information to everyone about what this program is all about. So I just put up this slide just to give you a little bit about our mission statement so you can understand why we do what we do. We do what we do because our core value drives us to do them by committing to foster a culture where creativity and exploration drive our pursuit of new ideas, methods, and technology. We are value-driven, we hold ourselves accountable, and we hope the last thing that is here, that we will cultivate a collaborative and inclusive research environment that support the growth, development, and well-being of both early stage career investigators and established researchers and healthcare professionals. The idea is that by doing this, we kind of give you an environment where you can find people who do what you do, who like to do what you do, and share ideas with them, and hopefully you are able to grow on your own. So this is about our third year of doing this. The first time it was a smaller project. Then the last year we had a larger program. This is even an expanded one. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what is expanded in this particular round of things. But first of all, give me 1 second. I wanted to talk a little bit about the 4 main platforms that we use at Ivan for our capacity development. So the first one is what we do every Monday. So every Monday for 50 weeks in a year, we all get together and people are able to present the research they are working on, which we call research in progress. This gives you an idea for you to have something that you want to work on, be able to develop the specific aim, be able to share it in an environment where people can contribute to your work, again, without taking your work. Everybody that agrees to participate in this research in progress have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. That non-disclosure agreement is for the protection of people who present as well as the people who listen. So the idea is that if you present something at the research in progress, nobody else in our team will write that project without communicating with you. Because we had people consigned that when they come into groups like that, share their ideas, the next thing, people who have better network, stronger network, take the ideas and move forward. That is something that we want to make sure that does not happen. So to participate in that, you have to agree that if you listen to something and you had people show their grant, that is regarded as an intellectual property, and you will protect that. So that happens every Monday for 2 to 3 hours. The other thing that we have is the first Monday in a month, we do our webinars. In the webinar is really what we call a little bit of meet the expert. So we bring in people from Nigeria, from the rest of African countries, and globally to talk about topics that our members have generated that they want to hear about. So these are usually, during these meetings, we ask you, like today, at the end of this meeting, you will get a survey that asks you if there are topics you would like to see in any of the 4 platforms that I'm talking about today. So the first one is that weekly research in progress. The second one is the monthly research webinar. So here, you see an example of what you see on here is the screenshot of all of us. It's a virtual meeting. So people are able to present and people are able to contribute from where they are. You see a little poster of the May webinar series that is upcoming. We're going to be, Julia Powers is going to be talking about stigma reduction and mental health promotion. So that happens once the first Monday every month. Then every quarter, we bring you the NISA Research Week. The NISA Research Week is really a very good combination of how we do things. If you look at the extreme right, what we do there for this is last year's one. What we did here is that we bring in someone who is an expert. Preferably is the person who developed or have been part of the team that developed a framework. That's what we did last year. And then we bring in someone in Nigeria who have used that framework. So you see, for example, the first day we have Greg, we have Enola talk about the ERIC implementation strategy. She was part of the team that developed that. Then you have Dr. Olawepo, who talks about how the ERIC implementation strategies was used for his work in Nigeria. You see the second one is 3M. You see the Mercy come in, talk about 3M, what they intended for it to be. You see Dr. Lakunde talk about how they have used 3M in Nigeria in his work. You see the people who team that developed Cypher. So you see the same thing go on and on, down. That's what we did last year. This year, we're excited because we're going to be bringing you different new perspectives. So please be conscious and watch the website for it. Usually, these things are posted on my LinkedIn page, so you will see it on my LinkedIn page. It's posted on CTAIR's website, and also it is posted on the NISA website, NISA LinkedIn page and website. The last thing we do is our annual conference, which holds every year. So this year, we are actually going to be having a joint conference with the Global Implementation Society. So mark your calendar in Abuja. It's likely the second week of Abuja, the week of November 10. We're all going to gather back again in Abuja. And this is really very interesting because the theme for this year is everyday implementation. So this is not just about the framework. This is not about the models. This is just about people who every day are implementing things and what strategies and what things they use to implement it. So this is the first time we're having this combined meeting with the Global Implementation Society, and we're all excited about it. So these are the 4 things, again, that you can pick which ones that suits you. So the research in progress that is weekly, the monthly webinars, the quarterly research network, and the conference. To me, I think each of them bring a different thing. So I'm hoping that it will be useful to you. So this scholar program came in really because of a demand for mentorship. Everybody that when I returned to Nigeria, after 25 years in the US, most of the things I hear people say, I don't have a mentor. I'm hoping Nigeria doesn't have mentor. I say, what do you mean? Nigerians have mentors everywhere. The person that helped me develop my own career was a Nigerian in the US. So I'm saying, why can't we provide the same thing to people who are back in Nigeria? So that's one of the things. And what we hoped for, no one person has what it takes to mentor another human being. You only contribute as part of a mentoring team. So I'm always one that advocate that everybody needs a mentor. I do, I have one, but I don't have one single one for everything. I have my mentor for my financial, talking about how to help me retire. To have another person who helped me to be a better husband. And then another one who helps me to be a better father. And then one that helps me in my career. So when people talk about mentoring, I don't think of mentor as one person. I think it's a mentoring team. And each of those people in your mentoring team contribute to different things. And what I hope that I can contribute and what the team and Ivan hopes that we can contribute is purely to your academic one. Don't listen to us if we tell you how to be a better husband or a better wife. That's not our expertise. Our expertise is to help you on how to put together an idea, how to compete with your idea, how to write winning proposals, and how to get the funding for those proposals, and how to do the work that you really want to do with integrity. So that's what started that demand. We started with a lot of people coming in there saying, can you? So I said, okay, instead of me spending 3 hours talking to 3 different people on the same thing, why can't you guys all get together? So that's how we started with a smaller group, but we have grown back there. The main thing that we have had is people who have low success, coming in there. Even in the US, I have to write 10 grants, NIH grant, to get one. So the success rate for me at my beginning was 8%. At my height, it grew to 40%, where I wrote 10 grants in a year and I got 4 of them. I don't think I have beaten that since then. There are people who have 100%. They write one and they get one of it. But I have to write that 10. But each of those things that I write, I have grown with them. So I always say that no better way for you to know how to write grant except to actually write the grant. So who are we looking for? Because when you talk about we are looking for a mentor, we're also looking for a mentee. And a mentee is important. And I'm one of those when people say, oh, there are no mentors in Nigeria. They don't, I say, there are no mentees in Nigeria. They don't do what they're supposed to do. And then the person looks at me. So what do you mean? I said, let me tell you what I mean. You need people who have done their part. First of all, for most grants, competitive grant, you need a terminal degree. That does not mean that people who have masters and bachelors do not get grant. But most of the grant that I'm talking about today, you either have to have a terminal degree or you have a master's degree. So you need to be able to do that part of your own to grow as in that pathway. The second thing is that once you have that, people that we are looking for is people who have tried to put a grant together and submitted it. Why are we looking for that? Because we can mentor people from all the beginning. So that's why we have all those other 4 mentoring platforms. So if you don't know how to write grants, listen to the grant in progress, join that, and that would help you grow. If you want to have an ideas of grants, listen to the monthly webinars and see what people are doing. If you want to see what types of framework, learn things, different the models, and listen to the research in progress week. And if you want to create a network and know how to build up an investigative team, come to the conference. So there are other places that you can find different things. So for this particular scholar program, we are looking for very, very specific people. We need to say that you have a terminal degree. So there are a few spots that we have for people who do not have terminal degree, but they must have a master's degree. So that is something that is new this year. Before, we do not accept people who did not have a terminal degree. This year, we're going to leave a few spots for people who have a master's degree. Second thing, we want you to have submitted a grant. It doesn't matter whether it was a $1,000 grant, 100 Naira grant, that you put an idea together. We want to see that. If you have been unsuccessful, that's first of all, submitting a grant you have submitted and unsuccessful actually takes you top on the list, because it means that you have taken the energy to do this. We know, because we do it, how difficult it is to invest your time to put together a proposal and submit for a grant. So if you see anybody who have submitted a grant before, whether they get it or they don't get it, shake their hand, give them a hug, they have done something. The only person who recognizes that is someone like me who have written 10 grants in a year and didn't get any. So I understand the energy that goes into writing those grants. And I understand what people who have submitted grants have done too. If people tell you they are smart, they have done everything there, and you say, have you submitted grants? And you're talking about grants, not everything. And they say they have not done it. Those are just people who listen. They can listen for 20 years. And then they don't really know what it takes to write a grant, because it takes a dedication, it takes a lot of intensity. So anybody that you want to be able to talk to, talking about grants and those things about research, and I said, have you actually submitted a grant? And they say, no, continue moving. They're really honest to you. They can listen all they want. They can tell you all they know until they put that grant themselves. They don't recognize the intensity and difficult what it is. So having submitted a grant that is unsuccessful takes you to our #1 list, because we think that, okay, so you haven't submitted one, but you have a clear idea or a concept. That is still good. So we want to be able to take a look at that. But the only way we don't want to do that is that we don't want to take an idea just because, oh, this is an idea. We want you to take an idea and find a funding opportunity that is in that area. Why are we saying that? Because that's what makes us, once you find a funding opportunity, then there's a timeline. So this grant is due. So you now work yourself to a timeline. So these are some of the things we are looking for the ideal scholar that we want to spend this time with. Again, we are spending this time out of our out of our own making. We don't have funding for this. So we have been doing this up to today out of our own time commitment, because we felt that to them who have received more is expected of them to give. So each of us that do this have received mentoring in one way or the other, and this is our way of paying it forward. So everything that we do, all the time we spend on it, all the faculty that are going to be involved on it are supported by the Ivan Research Institute or the Nigerian Implementation Science Alliance. If we get funding for them, we will say that in any of our meeting, but as I'm speaking to you, this is not designed based on a funding arrangement. We don't have any. This is our last group that we had. And, one of them just sent an email to me 2 days ago to say, I just got my my summary statement from NIH. They scored, it was scored 51. I didn't get the grant. And I was in my mind, he didn't see me, but I jumped up and said, wow, you knew how long it took me for my grant to be reviewed. So the way NIH grants are done, once you submit the grant, they will give it to 3 people to review. And all of those 3 people that come in, they come in with the grant, they line them according to rank, and they'll take the top 50%, and then the last 50%, they don't even discuss it. So you get a note back saying not discussed. So the only comments you get, that's one thing I like about NIH. That's why I use them for training. It's not anything else, because that's who trained me. I was the first person in my institution to get an NIH grant R01. So I didn't have anybody in my institution mentor me. So the people that mentor me was basically those reviewers. When I send in my stuff, they critique it, but they will tell me strength, weakness, strength, weakness in all the sections. So those things are what helped me to build. So I really, really do love NIH grants because of that. They really, even if you don't get it, you actually get a benefit from writing one. So if somebody is trying to grow, I say write an NIH grant. I don't like the grants that you write and then they say you didn't get it, but there's no feedback. They don't help you grow. But NIH grant, 3 people will review it and give you comment on the weakness and strength of every section of the grant. That is no better training than that. So that's why if you hear me talk about NIH grant, that's not because there are not other fundings. That's not because NIH grant is the biggest thing, but because it is, to me, the best way you can get self-mentoring, which happened to me, is by through them. So when this person tell me that in their grant they submitted, they got scored, that tells me, first of all, they were top 50%. And to get that, NIH scores you from 1 to 9, and to get 5. So you have to remember, 1 is exceptional, 2 is outstanding, 3 is excellent, 4 is very good, 5 is good, which is where they were. Then you now go down to poor and weak and that. So they may not have been funded, or they may not have got into the funding range, but I was very excited the fact that they got scored in their first attempt on that grant, and it's always something I think you should go back and review. We have this class, you can always talk to them and see what they were. They were very helpful to us, and we're going back to them again, because as we develop the curriculum for this year, we are asking input from them. What is it that they enjoyed? What is it that they didn't like? Remember, this is new for us. So we are learning from people who have gone through it, and we're hoping that the people we select this year will go through it and help us in giving us information on how to develop this better. So what is it that they didn't like? Some of them said it was intense. Well, we can't do anything about it. Grant writing is intense. But some of them said the timing of it, we put this in the weekend. Some people said, I don't want it in the weekends. I want it to do the work day. And so did we get the feedback from our faculty that they don't want the weekends. They want it during the weekday. So this day, we're going to change it back to the weekday, but we'll make it after work. So we let people go to work, come back, settle their family in, and then go about 9 o'clock and then be able to do that. So that's something that we are going to be moving forward. But those are some of the changes that may come in this year as we go. So this is what it's going to look like. And Professor Chiba, I do see your hand raised. Do you want me to stop and take it? Okay. So I'll come back. So I'll come back to Professor Chiba. I see his hand raised, but if you also put the question on Q&A, so that Q&A, if it's not something I'm able to answer, then I can open it up to faculty. Professor Chibu is a Ghanaian oncologist and one of the ones in Nigeria, and is also faculty on the CTAIR Scholar program. So he does lead one of the proposal. And Professor Chibu is also a multiple PI on a grant we applied to continue this project, which is actually to even make it more, which is what you see at the curriculum. What we have focused before was we focused on just the technical part of the grant writing, but we are trying to bring in the soft skill, the professional skills that you need. So when you look at the agenda, draft agenda that I put in here, you see a mixture of all of them. That's funding. We have not received it yet from NIH. We've been informed that we are selected as one of the ones that will be funded, but we have not received any letter or anything. And we received a letter strictly telling us not to do anything based on the grant because we have not received that funding opportunity. So whatever we're doing here is what we're going to do as Ivan, with or without the grant. So it wouldn't matter to us. If we receive the funding, it will help us a lot. If we don't, we're still going to do this. So that's one of the reasons we started to talk about it. The reason we want to do it is because we really believe that it's important. So if you look at this, you see some of the ideas. I'm leaving the screen intentionally open for you for a little while to see that. We talk about the introduction. So remember, in our monthly meetings, we bring in things to talk about how to look for grants, how to do this thing. But here, you see us concentrate a little bit to review those things. If you're going to be hearing it for the first time here, then you are not the candidate for this program. We hope that before people apply for this, they have heard about how to find, because remember, you have to have an idea and you have to have a funding opportunity. So if you don't know how to find funding opportunity, then you are not a candidate for this place. That means you need to go back to one of the 4 platforms that we have and get yourself up to a place where you are going to say, I'm in the frame mind where I'm going to invest 24 weeks of my time to do this. It is intense. So we're going to go a little bit of grant writing, finding funders, preparing NIH BioSketch, anatomy of a funding opportunity. But at this time, all the people that we selected would have had those funding opportunities. So it will be for us to go over their funding opportunities. So if it's NIH, we go to it. If it's NIHR, which is the British one, we go to it. If it is Bill Gates Foundation, we go through it. So we go through a little bit of those notice of funding opportunity and see how they're done. Then we move on to talk about overview of science communication. That is a soft skill. That's a professional skill, not a technical skill in a way. So you see us bringing experts in this area to talk about science communication. We also integrate that, talk about anatomy of a grant, the 5 easy steps. The 5 easy steps, if you haven't heard about it, then also I don't think you are part of this particular scholar program. That means you need to go back to one of our program, because we do this every year, 3 times every year. The idea is so that people can develop those ideas we're talking about, that in applying, we need for you to have those ideas. So again, those 5 steps is you need to be able to clearly define what the problem you are trying to solve. So it's like a concept sheet. You need to be able to say what is known about that problem. You need to be able to say what is the gap in knowledge. You need to be able to say, what are you proposing and how are you going to do it? So those are the 5 steps. So we talk about it. That's what we use to develop specific aim or concept sheet. So, and we go over to the next slide, you see a presentation skill, which again is a soft skill. Then we have the technical skill, research design, frameworks. Then you now have another soft skill, which is teamwork and leadership. So that's how you see in all of these things, there are mixtures of different parts. What is interesting and what we want to do newly is that we are trying to do a retreat. So if we get this funding, that's where it's going to be very good to us, because we are now going to organize a 1-week intensive review of proposals, so that towards the end of that 24 weeks, we have a 1 week where we actually have 6 hours every day for 5 days. That's 30 hours. And we want to dedicate that to actually go through people who have a proposal too. So for you to be invited for that, you need to have by then have a developed proposal, and we're bringing experts in to help you review them before you submit them. So it will be like a mock review. So there will be a mock review The same thing that will happen at NIH or any other grant funding agency. We show you how you work, we grade your grant, we give you the feedbacks. So that's quite an intensive part. So that is the only part we will not do if we don't get the funding. But if we get the funding, we are going to integrate that part of it. So I am almost done. This is the information that brought you here. We are hoping that we can get this thing done, and our application closes next week. And once it closes, then we are going to select Dell. We already have more than 50 applications, so it is going to be very competitive. But we're hoping that we can bring in people who really are at the point they just need a little bit of somebody to guide them to get across that bridge. These are people who have, like we said, have tried to write a grant before or written a grant before or have a bright idea, and then they're looking to build a team, because these days one person can't write these grants because there are so many expertise that are required. So even when I write grant, I have to put in an investigative team of 4 to 5 people that actually help in putting that grants together. Okay, so I made it. My team told me I cannot make it in 30 minutes, so I'm sure they're very proud of me that I kept time and then did it in 30 minutes. So now let's switch on to questions. I can see Professor Nyeka very happy with me that I spent this only 30 minutes. She thought I was going to spend 1 hour talking and talking. So let's go to the fun part, which is to address your questions. So Professor Nyeka, I will take the questions that are in the Q&A first.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so let me read them out for you. So the first question says, is the weekly research in progress meeting free? So the Monday research in progress meeting, is it free?
It is free. Everything that we've done so far, and we're hoping that one day somebody will give us an endowment. That's what happens in the US. So if you do know Dangote, you can tell him that we are doing a good job. We are contributing our own part, and maybe he will give us an endowment, and we start calling this Dangote CTAIR Scholar Program. Or you can also give us an endowment, and then that will help us even bring more people, both faculty, but it is free. What we do know is that we want people that have an idea and want people that commit that. So we kick people out of the team. So just be aware. So if you listen and listen and listen and we think it's not helping you, we kick you out. We don't kick you out because we rejected you, but we're helping you to find a better use of your time so that maybe you can find another group that speaks to you, because you can't tell us that you've been listening to this and for 3 years you have not done anything with it. So we do kick people out from our team, but it is free.
Okay. Okay. So the next question says, what is a terminal degree?
That's a very important question, because a terminal degree, some people regard it as, some people call it a professional degree. So if you have MBBS, that's a terminal degree. If you have a pharmacy degree, that's a terminal degree. If you have a PhD, that's a terminal degree. If you have a doctor of veterinary medicine, that's a terminal degree. So a terminal degree is in any profession the last degree that they get. If you have a bachelor's in public health, that is not a terminal degree, because you need to have a master's, and then a doctor in public health, which is a terminal degree, a PhD, which is a terminal degree, an MBBS, which is a terminal degree, a DPharm is a terminal degree. So a terminal degree is in whatever a professional degree that, because most professional degree like MBBS does not have undergraduate degrees. So MBBS is a terminal degree. MD is the same equivalent. So don't be confused by Nigerian inconsistency and the loss of focus of MD and MBBS. MBBS is, that's what I have. MBBS is equivalent to MD. So when people go to medical school in the US, they come back, they get an MD. When you go to medical school in Nigeria, you come out, you get an MBBS, and those are equivalent. So the MD thing in Nigeria is, to me, misguided. But again, I can allow to speak my free mind these days. That's what happens when you get old. People don't want to put you in jail. So MBBS is as good a terminal degree as MD, and they're equivalent. So I hope that helped answer that question.
I think so. Okay, so someone says, I'm not in the medical line. Can I still continue with the program? So apparently he or she applied, but is not a doctor, is not in the health-related specialty.
So this is a very interesting question here. It really is one that we didn't give a good thought before this meeting, and the one that is actually gonna. What we believe is that the same principle that you use to write grant in the medical sciences is going to be helpful to someone. But in this particular program, I think because most of the people we're inviting for this particular round are in the health section. If you're not in health at all, then it will be a little bit difficult for you. Doesn't mean you're not going to learn something from it. You are definitely going to learn how to organize proposal because it is the same, irrespective of your field. But like if you are writing a basic sciences, it may be very difficult because we don't have experts in our faculty that are a basic science expert. Over time, we're going to have them because even in the medical field, where for some time it was only doctors we have. Right now, we have more PhDs than we have MBBS, and we are very happy with that. Especially when we actually see, for example, people that have a PhD in nursing. If you have one and you want to do research, please write me directly. Those are the kind of people that we're looking at. But we are looking for a diversity of people with terminal degree. But right now, our faculty is really skewed towards health. So we don't have all the faculty here. But as we grow, that's something that we will think about. So thank you so much for bringing that up to us. So the other ones we talked about how can we join the other platforms, training programs that I talked about, because I don't seem to meet the criteria for this particular mentorship. Since even though I'm passionate and have significant knowledge about it, I don't have a terminal degree.
Okay, there was a question that someone was asking, but I think
you're breaking out, Professor Nyaka, so I'm not sure. So you're muted. Do you want me to continue to talk? Okay. I'm not sure. Something is happening with Professor Nyaka's connection. But so the other platforms, please go to the CTAIR website. If you look at the chat, you will see the email ctair@unn.edu.ng. Send us there will be an application there for you to fill. Please complete that application. That is going to help you into any of those things. But they are all free. Our monthly webinar is attended by more than 500 people across multiple countries. We have actually now have people from all the different continents attend that, and we are grateful for that. And those are free. The research week that we have for a whole week, 2 hours every week, those are free. The only thing that is not free here is the conference, because you have to register for the conference. But the research in progress, the monthly webinars, the weekly research, the quarterly research network are all free. Okay, so go to the website. You will see a place to complete a form to join the team, and then you can join any of those programs. So again, I see another one, is this program free? That again is free. So in this particular one that we're doing right now in the CTAIR Scholar Program, it is completely free for this year. The only place that we might charge you money is on the having to do the week. So that intensive week, coming back to do that intensive week, because it's in person, so you have to fly yourself to Enugu. We don't do it in Abuja, we don't do it in Lagos, because we want you to be away from all of the politicians and all the businesses and go to a place that you're just going to see people who are civil servants. So one of the most funny civil servant places I know in Nigeria is Ibadan and Enugu. If you go to Ibadan, you are away from Lagos, away from all of those things. If you go to Enugu, you are away from all of those things. You are just there with civil servants. So you can forget about the bustle and things like that and focus for that 1 week. So those ones are not free because you have to pay your flights to come and then and the hotel to stay. But we provide it for you, the rest of it for you at that point. If we do get a grant that we apply for, as I mentioned at the beginning, that Professor Chibu and myself as MPI, with all the faculty that we have, we put together a grant that we submitted. It was competitive to the National Institute of Health, the National Cancer Institute. We were told that we are the top qualifier, but we have not received any grant announcement, and you cannot make claims to a grant you don't have. So until we receive those grant things, we cannot say anything about that funding at all because we don't have it. But once we have it, please watch the website. It will be there. And the people that we selected, we'll now see, depending on how much funding that we get, we can now cover the flight and the hotel for some people that will come to Enugu to do that. So that's about the free, but everything else about it is free. You say, what about those who have a medical fellowship? Can this be considered terminal degree? I don't know how you have a medical fellowship without a degree. So that's what I don't understand. So Professor Nyeka, you might help me here. So if you're going to have a fellow of the West African College of these things, you have it, unless you're talking about like if you did medical lab science and you have a fellowship of the medical lab science without a PhD. Again, before we don't, but this year we are having so if you do have a master's degree, yes, we'll consider that. Previously, we only consider people with PhD if you have that. In terms of that. So if you have a master's in medical lab science, you haven't had a PhD, but you have the fellowship, and that's what you're referring to. Yes. If you're talking about fellow of the West African College of this, by that time you already have your MBBS, and MBBS is the terminal degree. Okay. So can you remove the ones we've answered, Professor Nyeka? I'm going down so that we can see. Again, the question here is how can you join the weekly and monthly programs? We discussed that. Go to the website. The website is there. And then it does tell you how to complete that form and request to be a member of CTAIR. And then again, it is free. We don't charge you money for it, but we evaluate what you have done to see whether we think you're there. And when you do join us, you will get a criteria for what you have to do, publications, grant applications, staffing a grant, and if you don't do all of those things, we do kick you out for your own good so that you can find another place that will be more beneficial to you. Please, can a HND holder apply for this program? No, we don't. We consider HND as a degree. So it's equivalent of a bachelor's degree that we consider it, and we don't consider it as a terminal degree. But if you had a HND and you have gone on to get a master's, yes. Or you're going to get a PhD? Yes. So having an HND is not a disqualifying, but if you stopped at HND, no, this is not, you would not be accepted for this program. Okay, I see a lot of people is talking about the weekly research in progress. So we talked about it, how to do it. Please go ahead and then complete that form and we'll review your stuff. And if you are selected, you will be joining us on those meetings every day. We actually went a large number to almost 100. And now we started to kick people out. We are now down to 50. We're trying to kick people out so that we can go down to 30 or maybe 25. So that we can have a fresh room to admit more people. So that means those people have stayed and we haven't seen progress with them. So we're trying to kick them out in good faith so that we can have room for people and maybe somebody else will benefit them more. And those people can find, one of the things I actually like about, asking people to leave, sometimes it makes them angry. And that anger is a real good emotion that motivates them. I've had people who leave our team and went on to write a grant. And I say more grace to them. But they said, even though I'm annoyed with you that you kicked me out, that it was your kicking me out that made me go to. I said, that's all what we want is for you to succeed. If we wasn't, we'll be charging you money and making some money from this, but we don't because our whole focus is about you succeeding and supporting you to succeed. We don't think it's a good use of your time to be with us for 2 years and you haven't done anything. You should find somewhere else to do. Then you said, please, sir, to qualify for the scholar program, do you need either of those criteria or all of the criteria to qualify? You need, some of them are basic. You don't need all of them, but for example, if you haven't submitted a grant, but you have a very good idea, and you have a terminal degree, yes. If you don't have a terminal degree, you don't have a master's degree, then that's no, that is there. So I see a question, can a lawyer with a bachelor be regarded as someone with a terminal degree? Yes, law degrees are considered a professional degree. So even though you have a master's in law and a PhD in law, but the law degree is considered a professional degree, just like in veterinary medicine, just like in pharmacy, just like in medicine. So the answer will be yes.
There are a bit more questions on the chat.
I'm not going to do chat as much. So most of the things we give directions. One of the first thing is to learn how to follow directions, right? So put the question in the Q&A and we go over it. That's instruction, and following instruction is our key thing, that people who do not follow instructions, do not read the grant notice of funding, usually do not get the grant because they don't read what was asked for them to do. So what we are saying is that if you want questions, put them right on Q&A and we will take it. So you said, is the program is 24 weeks? Is it weekly? Yes, it is weekly, but it's weekly. It's actually 1 hour a week of overview. This is adult learning. So that's why we want people with terminal degree, right? We are not doing a chalk and board anymore. So it is, we go over something. For example, we go over a biosketch. We see an example from faculty members. They go over the biosketch, what is required of the biosketch. Then we give you the 1 week to get your biosketch done. Then you submit it before the next meeting. If you don't submit it before the next meeting, we give you one chance. And then if you drop out the second one, you drop out the third one, we drop you from the program. So that is also to help you, because there's no need for you to spend 24 weeks for nothing. So if the first week and everybody submitted their biosketch, you didn't submit it, we'll go to the second thing to do. And then by that second thing, everybody submitted maybe a specific, you didn't. By the third week, you haven't done that, we will drop you from the program. So we take a little bit slightly more than we end with intentionally, because we know that people do drop. It's intense, because remember that all of these people that are doing this are also working. So this is not it's not like they paid a PhD degree to get it from Hopkins, wherever they go to, and then spend the money there and stay there for those are different. This is people are working. So that's why we are trying to put it at a time, but this has to be people who are motivated. That's why it's very important to be able to do that. So are all the program virtual? So there are two parts to the program. It's 24 weeks. The first 20 weeks, 18 weeks is all virtual. Like I said, 1 hour every week with assignments, 1 hour every week. So before we ask for assignment, we show you, this is how a specific game is done. These are the four steps. These are the five easy steps that make up a specific aim. Then do it. Then we give you a week to do it, then before the next meeting, and we do that. So what we're hoping that you're doing things part by part, but by the 18 weeks, you would have completed all the parts. Then we are going to look at people who complete the part, and that's when we have the physical meeting in Enugu. In that physical meeting, you're already coming in with your full proposal, and we're now going to assign you someone that is going to spend, and all the team is going to spend, that first team, we're going to spend the 3 hours working on their project, so that after that they can submit it. So it's quite an intense week, but it's a very important time. It also allows you time that week to write and refine it. Most people after that week submit it. Again, we felt like we needed to take people away from their work for 1 week to be able to do that. So that's going to be in the summer. So we're hoping that that helps a little bit. So the rest of it are virtual. So this is the only one that will bring you there. You say, can an applicant submit an application based off of the new information received today? Absolutely, you can. And then even if you're not successful in this particular one, please do join us again. Remember why we do this. This is not to kick people out. This is to support you. This is to help you. This is really us paying it forward. All of us that are part of this faculty are grateful for what God has given us, grateful for what we have received, grateful for the mentoring other people have given us, and we are paying it forward by giving it out to every other person. So we are sharing what we have learned. One of the things you're going to notice, you're going to see all of us share successful grants. So you see me, first thing you get a biosketch, my biosketch in words. So for you to use it, make it your own, to change it to the things. Of course, you're not going to take my degree, right? You're going to keep your own degree, but it gives you an idea exactly how to do it. And then I will share my own grants that are successful. I am allowed to share those grants. So I share my grants, and I have reviewed grants for NIH for 10 years. Before. I don't review them anymore, but experience from all of those years are the same thing that we're going to pour in terms of reviewing your grants. So we'll keep going, and then we have
yeah, someone's asking whether a student can apply, a PhD student can apply.
Yes, this is one of those places that I like. Yes, if you are in a PhD student, can you apply? Absolutely, yes. So that is good.
Okay, so someone says they have a BSc and MSc in sociology and is a practicing medical social worker. Do they have a chance?
They do this year. Before we don't, we want you to get a PhD. So in our team, we have 3 people that are medical sociologists. They all have their PhDs. We advertise for postdoc this year. That is something else I didn't talk about. So if you finished your PhD and you're looking for where to have an intensive thing, we offer a program for 2 years. We actually pay you, and we actually pay you well. Just so you know, at least we pay you a lot more than senior lecturers in the Nigerian universities. So that's a huge amount of money, because we are looking for people who finish PhD, who want to go to research. So we are very focused on those things. So you can spend 2 weeks with 2 years with us. You have to move to Enugu. Again, we want to take you away from the politicians in Abuja and then the businessmen in Lagos, and then take you to some village in Enugu. But I can assure you that it will be a good time for you, because you'll be physically every day with us and you have all the support you need to be able to do this.
Okay, I think there's one very important question that says, someone needs an explanation of what the concept note should be. You know, we asked the concept note is part of the application process. So what is that?
So the concept note is the 5 easy steps that we talked about. We're going to review it again, but we want you to break it down. So I'm going to say it again, and somebody can actually put it in this place. Or if you go to our website, you'll see it on our website. So those 5 easy steps, go to our website, you'll see details, so you don't have to bother typing it. They will put the website address here. It says the first thing is, what is the issue that you're trying to address? To tell us, is it hypertension? Is it diabetes? Is it obesity? Is it neglected tropical disease? Is it leprosy? Is it Burley ulcer? Is it TB? Is it HIV? What is it that you're trying to address? Then the second step of it is, what is known about this? Tell us a little bit about the data in Nigeria. Why is it important to Nigeria? Because we do wonder, why is it important to another African country? Why is it important to where you live? So because these days, I'm saying these days because we're now having more people out of Nigeria joining us in this program. For this scholar program this year, we are actually already have accepted a person from Kenya. So we know that we are going to be from someone joining us from East Africa. So we will have those diversity. But you have to tell us what is known about us in the area. Why is it a problem, an issue in the area where you live? Then the third thing is, where is knowledge gap? Research is designed to increase our knowledge. So what is the knowledge gap? What is it that you're going to contribute by this? And then the fourth thing is that, what are you proposing to do? And then the fifth thing is, how are you going to do it? So if you break it down into these 5 paragraphs, just 5 paragraphs, that is a concept. That is a concept. Sheet, and that's, people can call it specific M2. Onyeka, which one do you want me to
There's
go?
a question which I think you've answered. Someone with an MPA, someone with an MD, can they apply? I think the answer is yes.
Absolutely. You don't need all those alphabets after your name, just like me. All you need is the MD to qualify. You can have the MPH like I do. You can have the fellow West African college, or we can have the fellow international. Those are additional degrees. All you need here is to have your MD degree or your MBBS, and you have the qualification to apply.
Okay, the last question I'm seeing from my angle is applying for a grant a component of the program? I think some individuals are mixing this up. Some think this is the process to get a grant. Some people think it's for a scholarship. So I think maybe you need to do a summary so they understand the program.
What we want you to do, what this program provides for you, is to train you on how to take your idea, develop it into a proposal, submit it to agencies that fund nice ideas. I mentioned them: NIH, NIHR, the British one, the Japanese embassy, the Canadian embassy, Australian embassy, the Bill Gates Foundation, MacArthur Foundation. But it has to be a proposal that they look at it and they like the idea and they fund you. So for you to be accepted here, you have to have the call for what they call NOFO, Notice of Funding Opportunity, or Funding Opportunity Announcement, or a call for grants. You have to bring one that you're responding to, because we want you to be focused, we want you to be timed. So that's what it is. We help you to apply for those grants. When you get them, it's your joy. So this is not, we don't offer the funding. We hope that one day we will have somebody who goes through our program, likes it so much, come back and give us back, and then say, I want to put some funding for you to be able to bring people. That has happened. I've seen that. I've seen that actually. One of the people that I consider somebody that I admire so much is somebody you probably may not know. Is an engineer. That you see him on the LinkedIn. He talks about all of the things. I'm blanking out of his name now, but he does this, and then he trains people, and he's one person that I really have not met him, but I admire him so much because I can see how he's giving so much back to the community, and then in that area where he has an expertise. This is us trying to give back in an area that we have an expertise. Can MPH, who is running off his program, apply this year? The answer is yes. Before, we wanted you to get your PhD before you do that. So my question, what are the time meetings slated for? I think I have 9 p.m. So the time will be consistent, 9 to 11, 12 a.m. since it will be between 2 to 3 hours. No, that is not. So that is not for this scholar program. What I said, 2 to 3 hours is the one in the
research in
program,
progress.
and that the research in progress. The research in progress is from 2 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon Nigerian time. The one I'm talking about at 9 p.m. is the scholar program, this scholar program. So we want people, because people go to work, come back, settle in their family, and then devote an hour to prove themselves. So that's what we put it there. I mean, we may select the whole cohort and they decide a different time. We may be, they have to negotiate it with the faculty. Last time we did it on Saturdays. So, some people liked it, some people didn't like it. So, because it takes away their day they have with their family. So some people want it during the week. So when we get the cohort, we will, between the faculty and the cohort, they will arrive at time for the cohort. Right now, we were thinking about, we did it 9 p.m. On Saturdays. But maybe this cohort will do that. But the one you're talking about, 2 to 3 hours, is the one on scholar program. So we have two parts of it. The first part of an hour is open to everyone. The second part of it, that is another hour, is only to people who already have developed a project. So in the first part of it, we are talking about, things, a presentation on ERIC strategy, on how to design research designs, on all of the. It goes to the people with projects so that they can give you ideas and you can give them ideas. Anymore?
Okay, so
I think
that's
we
the last
finally
question.
got.
Yes. We finally answered the last question. Yes.
Okay. If
Thank you
there
so
are
much,
questions, if there are questions in the chat that you want us to take, we'll take them. We have 3 minutes. I promise everyone it will end an hour, so it's going to end in 3 minutes.
Okay,
but what I'm going to
think
do
most
is to,
of them migrated to the Q&A.
Okay, so let me stop here, and can you open up a little bit again, please? Can you open Professor Chibu's mic to speak? Professor Chibu, again, like I mentioned, is one of our faculty that provides the City Scholar Program, and he's also MPI with me on the grant that we applied to NIH. So please, can you unmute his mic to speak?
I think he's unmuted. He does. There's also another hand that is off.
Okay, so then open up the hands. Chioma Ekenta, go ahead. You have a question.
Yeah, okay. So her mic is open. She should talk.
Go ahead.
Chioma, go ahead. Your hand is up. If you have a question, you can unmute and speak. Okay. Okay. I don't think there are any other questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we made it in time. Isn't amazing, right? We get that 11:59, so 1 minute to go. I think Professor Chibu dropped off. I was waiting to get to the end so that he can speak. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you. We want you to apply. If you don't get it, please do apply again. We want, and we will speak to people who have gone through this so they can share their experience on our website. So do visit our website. That will help you also to hear what people are saying. And you can call them. We will ask them if they're okay, if people can write them, and then you can ask them what they think about the program. But it is to you. Again, remember, nobody should tell you that you need to pay money to write this application. This is free for you. There is no money. So beware of people who might tell you that you have to pay money. There is no money to pay. You bring in your brain. That's all you are required to do, and you work at it. All right. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Prof. And thank you, everyone, for attending. So if you want the recording, go to our website, our YouTube channel. Go to our website too. Well, the recording will be there. Go to our YouTube channel. The link to our YouTube channel is there. This is streaming live. An email is also on the chat. If you need to ask questions, our email is there, ctair@unn.edu.ng. Send us an email, ask us any questions, and we'll get back to you. Thank you, and good luck as you apply for this program. Bye-bye. Good night.